It's Thursday. I'm here with my tech help. And we finally made it. So, we're going to get started. We're going to play with our quiet meadow again this week. I'm going to kill her. I am really going to kill her.
What?
I just noticed it. Far out.
I did that a lot sooner than you.
Okay.
I did that like when we got in before I did the chickens, Mama.
Ages ago. Okay.
Yeah.
So, excuse my dirty face. All right.
Welcome, love you.
Hooray, it's Thursday. Goodbye. Welcome to Hooray, it's Thursday for today. We're going to be playing with Quiet Meadow because that's my stamp set of the month. Next month's stamp set of the month is going to be the Christmas season because we're going to start making Christmas cards. So make sure you tune back in then. But this month we're doing Quiet Meadows, so I'm going to play with it one more time. So those people that actually got my Stamps Club, it's going to be another card that you could do with it, okay? All right, let me turn this camera around and we'll get started. Now I have got it plugged in because I ran out of battery. All right, so I've got a few things on my table today. I've got my Quiet Meadow stamp set. I've got some rich raspberries, some pumpkin pie and some garden green. So we'll see how that goes for us. I've got some glimmer paper and I've got some watercolor paper, or fluid 100 I think they call it. Our dies, which I do have some of them in my little pot here because it does have a nice set of dies that go with it. I'm going to pull this one out as well because I actually, they don't want to come out. And I found out what these are for. I've been having a bit of a search around on good old Pinterest, and I saw what some people had done with them, and they've put them in this one as a centre in here, and it looks really good. So yeah, just saying. Okay, and I've got that, and I might cut out this little butterfly. So we're going to play with some watercolours. Just put that to the side. I will, however, keep my dimensionals out. I've been cleaning up my room because I had a party here, so I had to clean up for that. So I've tried to keep it a little bit clean. And I've got way too many things in here. These don't need to be here. These are leftovers from my class. So we don't need those. Okay, so I run a monthly stamps club. Anyone can join. They can be a demonstrator. It doesn't matter. Anyone. It's $50 a month, and you get the stamp set included. This month was Quiet Meadow. It comes with a PDF of 3 cards, a video of 3 of me making those cards. You actually get all the stock to do 6 cards, 2 of each one. Next month is Christmas season. Anyone's welcome to join. I'm taking orders usually up until around the 15th of the month. After the 15th, I put the order in. I get the orders back, cut it all up so that I can send it out. Or for those ladies that come to class, they can come to class at the end of the month and do their cards. So, but it is offered. I do offer it to everybody. So it does, like I said, it doesn't matter if you're a demonstrator or not, but it does come with a stamp set and it comes with all of the supplies to make the cards. Okay, so if that's something that interests you, you're most welcome to get in touch with me. I will have a link once I've gone back and put it up. That I'll have a link for the class. So I just pulled out a piece of rich raspberry cardstock. I've got heaps of cardstock from, because quite frequently I'll cut up extra kits, like for the Quiet Meadow Stamps Club this month. I've got a spare kit. So I'll often have a spare kit if anyone wants it. It doesn't have a stamp set with it though, but that can easily be corrected, for want of a better way of putting it. So I've kept all of my stamp pads out. I've got some basic white. I bought a bucket load of just about everything over that I wanted. But what I'm going to do first, because I think I need to allow for things to dry. So I've got my, I've actually brought my envelopes over. It's a miracle. Okay. What I need, I've got my paper towel. I've got my aqua pens. I've got a little bit of water. But what I need for that is I actually need some shapes. So I'm going to cut some shapes out from the dies. So I'll just bring in my cut and emboss. And I'm going to cut them out in, I'll cut them out in the watercolor paper, but I'll also cut them out in the shimmer paper because I am really partial to the shimmer paper. So I've just got one piece, so I'll see how much I can get out of that. I think I know I want that one. I do really like that one. I know I want one of that one. And I really think I need 2 of this. But will I get 2 out of it? What do you reckon? Am I pushing the friendship? I think I can probably do it. Let's see. Okay, well, here's my lid. Under there. Of course it is. Oops. Well, that didn't work. That wasn't very good. They've all been hanging out in the magnet together, so they're all now a bit magnetised. Those ones that have been hanging out in there. Okay. Now I'll have room. So I'll just pop that through there. So this one's on shimmer. Okay. Oh, I didn't do that very well. All right. So I've cut off all my edges. Just pop that out. Pop that out. I'm just pushing them out onto a piece of cardstock I've got here. And I'd like another corn flower. That's what they remind me of anyway. So if I put that down there, like, it's not going to work. I need it to go up there. And where did I put that little butterfly? Let's have the little butterfly. You can fit down here. And then I'm actually going to cut the same ones out in watercolour. Hi Michelle, how you going? It's good to see you. Okay. Oops. I'm a bit bumpy. I haven't got my normal mat on the table because I'm still a bit packed up for party mode. And okay, so I probably can't get anything else out of there, so that's fine. But I will get them out of, I'll take them out of the watercolour as well. I can get more out of this. Okay. Because it's a bigger piece. Ah. They're very attracted to each other. Okay. So just shove these through. Oh. Need to really put my hands down onto it this time. Yes, I love these dies as well. They're so pretty and they're so easy to use, aren't they? Oops. Especially love this Maidenhair's Fern type one. It's really pretty. So, and this, yeah, I think, would you call this one a cornflower? I think it looks like a cornflower, and this one looks, you could turn this one into a stock quite easily, but I'm not very botanical, so I'm not sure that I'm using all the right terminology. I'm sure that somebody knows exactly what they all are. I'll just turn that one up that way. And do I want this one? That one's a pretty one. Let's have one of that. You know what? That can go up there because that can go there like that. No, you don't want to spend time with that. Look at it, it's trying to go over there to that one. That's the only downside about having them in the magnet, and I don't know how to stop it. Aside of using washi, because you don't want them to double over. If they sit on top of each other, they actually blunts their knives. Right, got them. Pretty sure I got them because they're going through quite nicely. Got to hold your tongue right. No, and I just wrecked 2 dies. So it's really important that they don't cross over because now they won't cut properly. So now I have to get myself a new set. Nor because I was trying to be frugal and cut 2 things at the same time. So what I've essentially done, can't really see it. So I've actually crushed here and I've crushed here. So my advice is maybe we cut one thing at a time and don't just do what I just did. All right, let's move that to the side. Went through really easy too. I thought it was sweet. I thought I got it. Now, my silicone mat is hiding here. And you can use one of these as well, but your silicone mat's the best one, best option. But because I want to move them out of the way, I might just use... Your silicone mat works the best because everything just wipes off it. Okay, so where are... This one here is the one that's done in glimmer paper. And I've moved, when I've cleaned up, I've put, hello there my friend Sharon, I've put my take your pick tool somewhere. And I haven't found it again yet. Give me a couple of weeks and I'll have everything back in my chaotic mess of a normal sort of thing. So I'll show you what it looks like on both of these because they both come up different. I'm just pushing out all the little nicky bits that I would normally use your take your pick tool for. Okay. How'd you get? So these are cut in paper that's going to be tolerant of water. So we've got shimmer and we've got watercolor paper. And you know what, I'll push those little bits out at the end. And I want that one because I'm just going to gather them up quite nicely like a bunch. Alright. And this is why I was thinking I could just use, actually I will because I need the room. I want to do them all because then I can pick the best ones. Oh, are you? Sounds good, Chris, doesn't it? Alright. Yes, I love the dies too. They just make everything so pretty in them. This one I am going to push out the bits because I need them out. So this is where my dangly things on my scissors are not handy. This is why I end up with bits everywhere. So I've got one of that. And look, if you want to use bits of either paper, go right ahead. But I have a sneaking suspicion that the watercolor paper is going to come up the best. But we're going to see. And I've got spares here as well. But essentially I've got one of each. One of each and 2 of the leaves and 2 of these stocky ones. And what I'm going to do with that is I'm actually going to turn that one over. And I'm going to run it over with my grain folder just to flatten out some of those lines from the, just because then I can have flowers going in 2 different directions. Okay, so with the watercolor, okay, because my base, I've got my background card's going to be, I bought a little extra bit of water because I want them really wet. All right, so let's go with this one first. And this one, I'm just putting some water just on this. Okay, and then I did have ink pad. And I'm doing what I don't normally like to do, which is I'm just going to put on the back of my... Actually, I should have just got... Whoa, whoa, whoa. Did you see that? Better block. I'd rather put on a block. Okay. So I've got a few blocks here. Just because I don't... So I've got garden green. And look at it, it just sort of plays into it. And it makes it quite pretty. And it's going to go all the way out there. Okay? So we'll just wet this baby. Oopsie. It's bent funny because it was up the other way around. Okay. And so I've just made it damp, sort of forces it into a bit of submission there. And then I'm going to add, and you can see how it's different. And look, the shimmer's quite pretty, but it depends on what look you're going for. And you can make it so that that really looks like that blade is actually going over this top bit here, because it's sort of coming down there. And we'll just run that up there, and then we can come back in here and do the same thing over here. Add a little bit of highlights to make it so that that actually looks like it's sitting at the front there, because it essentially it is. All right, just to give our leaves a bit of colour texture. Okay, so I'll keep this one clear so that I can put all my bits of water on here. And I'm trying to steer clear of the bits that I don't want water on just yet, because I want them to be able to be, I want to colour them after. Okay. Add a bit of green to this one. And you can use all different greens depending on what you're making. You can use all different greens, or you can get, because of the way we're doing it, you can actually get different tones with each green. And you've got your paper towel. If you really want to dry it a little bit, you can do that too. So it just gives you that another option as well. So they don't end up as wet, but it also means that they can actually, you can dry them a little bit faster. So, and on that, this one in particular, you can end up with appropriately coloured flowers. Oh, don't forget my tip there. Okay, now these two are going to be interesting to see how these ones show up. I'm really liking the watercolour paper, I will admit, but I also like the shimmer. I mean, the shimmer is just my favourite. It's my normal go-to because it's actually a bit more, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, it satisfies my frugalness a bit better. You get a lot more paper for your dollar. So I find it a lot more economical is the word I'm looking for. So I'm just wetting both of these, making them, but I'm not being too stingy with the water. I'm just, and look, I can squeeze my pen and it will come out, but just find that that's a bit better. pretty. And let's put a bit of green on this one. And it just works out quite pretty. Might need to get more ink out onto this one. And it just gives you like a, it just changes the way our, it changes the texture, for want of a better word. But the tips aren't, but anyway. Okay, so yeah, it changes the texture of the, it makes the leaves look more real. Is that a nice way of putting it? And you can always put more on, you can't take it away, so don't be too heavy-handed at first. Alright? And be aware that you will need to run this mat under a tap to get, because at the moment it's now got green ink all over it. Okay, might get some more. They just look really pretty, don't they? Alright. Okay. You have to put in the comments later, Chris, what you're making, so we can all see. Because we'd love to. It's such a nice set. It's a really pretty little set. So the girls that came to the ladies that came to the face-to-face Stamps Club loved the set. The majority of them went home and bought the die kit, the dies to go with it, which is up to you. But when you do Stamps Club, it comes with the stamp set. Now, what happens is, for those people that are online, I do all the die cutting for you. So it does make it a bit, you've got to stamp in the right spots if you don't have the die set. I'm actually really loving how it's working on the watercolor paper. So I didn't wet that one first, did you notice? So you can't have that nonsense. But that's why it's sort of jumping around too. This is a very viney plant. I wonder what sort of plant this one is. Doesn't matter. It's pretty though. But they look really quite pretty. Okay, to clean off our brush, you can just keep dipping it in your water. You can squeeze your water through it until it runs clean, because we don't particularly want some green on there. Okay. Oh, I'm going to need to do my butterfly. Okay, so because pumpkin pie is orange and it's a lighter colour than my rich raspberry, I'm just going to clean off the baby block so that I can dip it in my pumpkin pie. So I've just wiped it off on my mat, on my paper towel, and now I'm going to dip it in my pumpkin pie. Okay. So now we're going to go with some flowers, and I'm thinking these ones here need to be pumpkin pie flowers. I don't know what made me pick these ones as pumpkin pie, but oh, it's got red fluff. Okay, so I've made them wet beforehand, and now that I can add my colour. And depends on how I want to add my colour, whether I want it to start from the inside, I can push it out a little bit. Or I could have started on the inside and worked, on the outside and worked my way in. Whatever I do for all of them. And just give it a bit of a shove around. And as you can see, they're all going to actually look like completely different flowers. That one's pretty. some darker stuff in the centre. That one up the top there is very damp. Just give them a bit of a pat. See how much paler it made them? Alright, let's see. I want a bit of darkness in that centre. Oops, now I've changed the colour of my water. Try not to leave too many bits of the blank, but it does give a nice effect. Okay, and you can play with them until you're happy. But most flowers are darker or lighter in the centre, so we can actually play with that just by putting either less water, more water, whatever you want. Okay, but that looks alright. What do you reckon? Are we winning? Do we think this one needs to be? I've still got some flamingo on the table. Let's do flamingo. No. I've got polished pink as well. Flamingo or polished pink? Alright, you need to pick colours later. So, I've got flamingo and polished pink here. What colour do we want the flowers in this one? Okay, that's your two choices. While you're choosing them, I'm going to make the butterfly and these stock or cornflowers or whatever they are. I'm going to make them rich raspberry. So we got one vote for flamingo. I do like flamingo, it's my favourite of the pinkier colours. But we're gonna, so see what everybody else wants. There's a few of you watching, so this flower's here, flamingo or polished pink. Sharon's voted for flamingo. Okay, one butterfly. Did you see that? Look how, did you see how that moved? How cool was that? Just want to get it around the edges. And I want this to be darker. Oh, that's pretty. How cool does that look? Alright, and we'll do some flower petals. Keep wanting to wiggle. So I'm just wetting them with plain clear water. I'll take those dotty bits out after I've done it. Make sure I get right to the edges. And what do you think? I just made them a little bit darker. Looks like your flamingos for the win, my friend Sharon. Okay. Alright, let's whack a bit of... I could have done these blue because, what is it, cornflowers are blue? But... And then this one. Mate, look at how it runs in the watercolor paper. It just moves itself. Whoops. It's moving all right. Oh, look at this butterfly. He's so gorgeous. Let's put a little bit darker on his body. And in that middle bit there. Looking good. Okay, so we're going flamingo. Does that need a bit more colour there? Nice, pretty colours. All right, I'll just clean this one off. If you've got re-inkers, you can just use the re-inkers, but I couldn't get it that drawer. Okay, so flamingo it is. Looks like tea. I'm not going to need a lot of it, so I'll just get a little corner of it. It's looking pretty, isn't it? I just love how it's moving around. So what was started off as clear water, just going to put it on the flowery bits because I don't want to really run it into my leafy bits. Although we could use a bit more green down there, but anyway. Flamingo. Oh, that's pretty. Good choice, Sharon. And that one. Okay. Oh, I see why it's like that, because I chopped off the flower, I remember. Okay, so just pat more dry. Oops, fly away butterfly. Only because I want to add a bit more colour, but I just want it to bleed out a bit. That is a really pretty flower, isn't it? How lovely do they look? Now they've got to dry, okay? So let's just move all these bits aside. So we added, so I had garden green, rich raspberry and pumpkin pie to start with. And I've added some floaty flamingo. It might have a little bit. Do I need a little bit more green? I think that one there was just a bit too pale and interesting. Okay, so I'm just going to stick them aside. I'll just pop them up there. Okay, and my bit of paper towel because it's seen better days now. All right, I need my cut and emboss back. Because what I'm thinking of doing in my head, I've got all these little things here. So I've got all different size bits of paper. I actually might cut that one down a little bit, or is that one of the bigger pieces? Yeah, that's the bigger piece. All right, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to trim this. I'm going to actually cut this sort of in half. Okay. Because I don't want it that wide. So if I cut this to 6 centimeters, right. So it's a bit like a panel. Looking familiar, Chris? Just a different colour. Okay, so, and then I've got some little dots, and I've got some words, and I've got some little flowers. But I think I'll use the dots. And where's my garden? It's under here. So I need a scrap. I thought I had one. I do. Here it is. Okay. I just want to put a few dots on it for a bit of texture, but I didn't want to put them really hard. Okay. And that's one of the things I really like about this particular stamp set. It's very, you can make it very textural. This piece here, I'm going to shove this piece here through, cut and emboss. Now, I brought over with me on the table somewhere, I have a 3D painted textures. I'm not sure if everybody, have you got this one, Sharon? It's like someone's got some really thick paint and just scraped it on with a palette knife, and it just comes out really, really pretty. So I'll bring this guy in. Oh my gosh, I'm crushing everything. It's a 3D one. I've written on the 3D one. So you need just the big fat piece and the grey piece. So the number 1 and the number 4. You need to pop your, whichever side the Stampin' Up is on, I'm actually using that. I guide that as my top. So if you've got a textural piece, the most, like, that'll be the emboss side, whereas the other side is the deboss. Okay, spine in first. Just makes it go through easier, and you're less likely to break your embossing powder. Alright, I'll just get rid of all of that. Yes, I love that, of course. I know, I'm a bit the same. Oh, what's new? I need to spend some money. Yeah. So what I'm saying is, like, so we've got an embossed side and a debossed side. On this one, you can't you can tell it's a little bit, it doesn't look right. It's like the layers aren't right. Whereas you know that piece there's supposed to be on the top, for example. But like, look at how thick it is. It's really cool. It's one of my favorites. Anyway, so like that is going to sit on there. But I am going to stamp either the words, actually I might go with the flowers this time. I'm going to stamp flowers all over the back of this, just in my raspberry piece, but I don't want to do them too dark. So I can do them underneath here. Oh, it's not going to be too dark anyway. That's cool. The ink pad needs recharging, re-inking. Because you can only just see it anyway. I'm going to guess that you guys can't actually see it. But if I bring it closer and get it on the right angle, it's just starting to get a bit dark here, that's all. It's the only thing about doing it later in the day. It's just to seem to be able to get here more often. All right. I might put those... yeah, I'll put these flowers on the inside and on my envelope. So I like to decorate the envelopes as well. Okay, and I like to decorate the insides. Okay, and just because we used it on the front, we're going to have, I'm going to feel like I'm crowding my space. I want to keep that one because I'm going to use it for something else. Some little tiny squidgy ones. They're like little filler stamps. But they just make it so that everything works nice. Oh, I must have some glue on there. Okay, and somewhere's an envelope. envelope. We'll just put one of these on the front and a couple of these little guys. Okay, you can go ahead and you can decorate the back, and it does look nice. If you've got a scrap piece, you pop that into there. And then you can actually stamp to your heart's content over the edge. And then take it out of here and pop it on there to do that side. Okay, so you don't end up with ink anywhere you shouldn't have. And because we're stamping onto paper, it's going to absorb it quite nicely. This little guy, I had to butcher it because I was getting a halo every single time. So I trimmed him up with my scissors. Okay, just looks pretty. Okay, so we've done that. So far I haven't got a sentiment. I'm just remembering. But it needs a sentiment, doesn't it? But that's okay, we'll have play first. Okay, so that's going to go on there. And then I'm going to load up with some leaves. Look, they're even starting to go like, see how they're going a bit yellower? Might not need both of these, but we can. And that makes it just that little bit longer because I'm actually coming down the stem there. Yay! So you can extend them by hiding bits underneath other bits. Right, so that makes it so that it's a longer piece. And then these are going to go on top as well. So, sentiment. There's a couple of different sentiments in here. There's thinking of you, you're too kind, love, heartfelt love. The little love fits on the... Where is the packet? Oh, I've put everything in here so badly. I've got a basket on the side that I just shove everything in while I'm going so nothing falls on the floor. But there's a little tiny... This one, the little word love fits in that perfectly, like that little one. But I really like, in here is this one, and it's the banner, and I just love it because it opens up to so many different options and fits on all my scraps perfectly. It's got washi tape on it to hold it still because it's got the magnet stuff happening over there. Okay, so what I also noted, this one doesn't fit, but that happy birthday does, and I can't remember what I got that set from, what I pulled that out of, but that's the one I'm going to use for this card because I've just made for the class, for the Quiet Meadow class, we all made thinking of you cards, so I have an abundance of those. All right, I need this, and I'm actually going to stamp it in garden green. Oh, hello there. And the reason I'm going to stamp it in garden green, as much as I would have liked to have used Rich Razzleberry, the garden green's got more ink on it, so I think it'll actually just stand out better. Okay, and stamp cleaner. Always good to have on hand. Now, if I've got any demos watching me, just so that you know, we've got On Stage coming up. I'm registered. I'm going to the Sydney one. My friend Sharon's going to Perth. Where are you guys going? So, is anyone going to join us? We're going to catch up with anyone? Because one thing that you can do is you can get your bone folders engraved. Make nice team gifts. And I do them. So if you want engraved bone folders, let me know. Let's see. I'm just going to see which side looks better. I'm thinking I'll go with garden green, but oh, actually I think I might go with that. I really like that. Okay, which raspberry it is. The dies are pretty. I think you need them, Cheryl. Oh, you're going to be in Sydney, Michelle. Sweet. That'll be cool. Tony's coming with me as well, so I've got a couple of team members coming. A couple of us are carpooling down. Okay, so I need to cut my word out. My happy birthday. Bring this guy back in. My mini's in the drawer. So I've got to put all my layers back together now. And we decided on rich raspberry, or I did anyway. Oh. You need to make sure you get these little ones out from the last time you used it, because otherwise it's they don't cut properly. And we'll send these. It'll be good. I'm looking forward to catching up with everybody. Like, it feels... Oh, I can't believe I did that. It wiggled. Okay, both sides are dodgy. We have to stamp again. Yeah, I've missed everyone as well. Washi tape's your friend. I'm wondering what they're going to do with the new, with the magnetic platform, whether they're going to try and get us another one again. I need to grab a scrap. Oh, I was going to say here's some I prepared earlier, but that's my bling. Okay. I have a little piece here. Alright, I'll just top it off the bottom of that. Happy birthday, rich raspberry. And I'm just eyeballing my desk to see if there's any, and I haven't put my mat underneath it, so we'll see how it comes up. Not bad considering, but then I do have, I've got about, I don't know, quite a few sheets of the paper here. Every time someone leaves one here, well, that got a bit glitchy. And what happened was my mum called because I was using my mobile phone, so she, I guess, glitched me out, so we had no sound. I'm just poking out some of the holes of the cardstock that was left in those holes so that I can redo that cutting out because it was so dodgy, the first one. This time I've used some washi tape, and I'm just going to line it up and I'm going to stick it down with the washi tape. You will have noticed in other parts of the video the magnet makes everything jump around. It has its advantage, it keeps everything nice and secure on the table, but it does magnetise them to some extent. So we'll just run that through there, and that one is heaps straighter than the first one, so it's much better. Okay, and just prise it out just gently so that you've got your sentiment. Alright, just pop that aside. Okay, we'll just get rid of this for the second until the next time we need it. And there we've got our sentiment. See, much better. It's a bit different when you use a bit of washi tape and hold things nice and still. Okay, so we'll just get everything sorted. It's about now people started messaging me to say we can't hear you, but because of the lag time on the Facebook Live, I really couldn't hear them. So I just kept moving along and doing my thing and waiting to see how it all turned out, and eventually I'll cotton on. So it was just a matter of bunching up my flowers and getting all of those sorted into some sort of picture that I liked. And I ended up using a mixture of both the watercolor ones and the shimmer ones. So the shimmer ones actually make it look really pretty. The watercolor ones give nice texture. And it's just, you can use as many as you like or as few as you like. Those ones were extra pretty. And because I turned one over, it actually had, it gave it a different, the bouquet a different look. So everything wasn't facing the one direction. Alright. Okay,
So don't forget to poke all those little extra bits out. You'll see them on there as you go to layer it all back up. Those little extra bits make the flower look more real when you've taken them out. Okay. And just pop that one there. It's nice if there's some pairs. And the happy birthday is essentially going to pop straight over the top of that one. Okay. And we'll just shove that little one in there and see how we go. Okay.
I'm just going to slip that one in underneath there. So essentially that's my bunch of flowers. Now, I don't know about you guys. I'm glad you got me back. I don't know what happened to the other people, but I'm hopefully they'll catch up as well. I don't know about you guys, but when I do stuff like this, I put it on there and it looks different when I put it back. So what I've been doing lately is I've been going like that, and then I can glue it all together. It does look very pretty, doesn't it? It's just a nice collection of stuff. Okay, so my take your pick tools on the table over on the other side, I think. I don't know what I've done with. So I just put some glue on this bit. Okay, a little bit on there. And I just sort of build it up from underneath. The best I possibly can. And then I just wiggled it. Because you can never get it the same twice. So I'll just put a bit of glue on this one. Okay, it's turning out quite pretty. Okay. What I'll do when I load this up to YouTube, I'll join all the bits of the video back together so that we don't have missing bits together. All right, I think every piece has got at least a little bit of glue on it. Okay, and then I'm just going to put it on, back onto there. Eee, it's all sticking to me. Hopefully most pieces are stuck. Yep, they're stuck. But I've got glue on the table here, so we'll just stick my silica mat over the top. All right, just make sure that that sits in enough so that we don't want those over the edge there. We can actually put, I had it sitting on the other side, but we can put it over that way. What do you reckon? They do look very, very nice together, don't they? My fingers are all sticky now. All right, so I'm going to put some glue under here. I always tell my ladies in my class that less is best, because we don't need lots of this stuff. All it does is squeeze out and go yucky and get everybody messy. Okay. Right. Now, what I did, I showed the girls in class, and I'll show you a lot because I can. I think it needs some twine. Now, having stuck it down means I can't tuck it in underneath. But I've got this, and I want to put it here, and I'm going to put some twine on this. Okay, so what I did the other day in class, you're going to have to watch this bit. I thread it through here. Does that make it harder to see with that silica mat on there? So I thread it through there and tie a knot. just a single knot, quite firm. Don't squeeze the living daylights out of it, and then I'm going to cut that off there. Okay, so it's quite firm, and then I'm going to take my twine, I'm going to wind it around my fingers a couple of times. I'm going to pinch these two bits together, trim that. Be careful of the pointy bits of the snips, because quite frequently when I'm doing this, I've cut here and it's very unpleasant. Okay, to put it mildly. Squeeze that together. It will automatically want to cross over, and that's okay. But if you don't want it to cross over, you don't have to, but it will automatically want to cross over. Then you're going to lay it on your knot. You can hold it down, you can do it however you want. So I've got my finger stuck on it. So this finger's stuck on it. And I've got the two ends from my actual knot. So it'll be really hard to see. But I'm just, essentially, I'm going to tie that around it. See what I'm doing? And I'm just going to pull it a little bit that way. And I'm going to pull it quite firmly on that bit. And I'm going to tie it twice. Okay? Because that bit needs to be tight. Now, you do have ties in here, little bits in here that are going to come away and stand in a, like, so that you can see them. So which means you've got the choice that you can trim them down or have them as your tie edges, I don't know. And you can trim these little bits little. Because it's a double knot, if you trim them little, no one will see them. And if you've got glued on your scissors, you'll have trouble snipping. But then you end up with this really quite busy, almost like a florist bow, so that when you put it on your flowers, it sort of looks like it's a bunch, like they're tying the bunch together. And then I want to put dimensionals under here. Because this is quite textural, so that needs to stick up, as far as I'm concerned. Okay? You can put it straight over the top if you want, or you can put it to the side. I'm just going to put it to the side. Might stick another dimensional in the middle just because I can. And then I'm going to stick this on. You can put some pretties on it, some gems if you would like to, but you don't have to. I always try and stand up when I do these bits, so you'll often get bits of me in the video. Okay. There we go. And I have a butterfly that I'd forgotten about. So he's going to sit there. So he needs a dimensional. He probably needs a mini actually. Where's the minis? I've got minis everywhere, but not up here. Found one. Stop looking. And I'm going to stick him, who's still a bit damp. Stick him there. Ta-da! I think it needs a bit of adhesive under there. What do you reckon? You with me, Michelle? Okay, so to get a bit of adhesive underneath that wing, I just stuck it on a piece of scrap. Stick it under there, and then I can actually push down on it. Okay, make sure you put that bit in the bin, otherwise it will stick onto something. Not necessarily where you want it. Okay. You can put a glue dot under your bow to make it sit still if it's not bending to submission or playing nice. Got bits of... How did I end up with ink all over that? It's got ink all over it. I think I need to make another side. It's messy. Does it turn out really... I'm really happy with how it's turned out. Oops. Now my silicone mat's going to have flowers on it. But that's all right. Ah, this was Flirty Flamingo, wasn't it? Not. That was Pumpkin Pie. And I think I just used Polish Pink. I did. But that's right. One should pay more attention to what one is doing. Okay. Yeah, see, it's got all marks all over it, so we don't want that. I must have put it on something. But there's two sides to every piece of cardboard, so that's all cool. I'm really happy with how this turned out. Okay. There we go. What do you think? We have one envelope and one card. And I think it looks rather pretty, if I do say so myself. Hi Elizabeth, how you going? You're coming right at the end. So, this month we had Stamps Club was Quiet Meadow. So there's another card for my Stamps Club ladies. If they want to play with Quiet Meadow, they can. There's another idea with it. It does use the dies. It's quite heavily loaded with the dies on this one, but that's all right. I think the majority of people actually bought them. For anyone that would like to join us for next month's Stamps Club, where you're playing with Christmas season, because we've got to start getting ready for Christmas season. So, Elizabeth, if you're watching on replay again tonight, I'll just give you the heads up. You have to watch the first part, and then you have to watch the second part, because the first part, we lost sound. Okay? So, I'm joining them together. All right? And I'll repost it at a later date, but if you want to watch them tonight, you need to watch the two of them. Okay. So I will catch up with you all later. I'll see you next week for the Hooray It's Thursday, and I'll be taking orders for my next Stamps Club. We might even play with that stamp set next week. We'll see how we go. Toodaloo everyone. I'll speak to you later. Bye.